I'll be slowing down the YouTube channel production a little bit, and there are a few reasons why, and today I'd like to share them with you. This whole idea of slowing down the YouTube channel production is a big source of fear, and I'll touch on it in a while as to why. But the first reason as to why I might need to slow down YouTube channel production a little bit, because if you look at the current workload that I'm doing right now, I'm doing 3 videos a week on this main channel, as well as 1 on the Josh Tan Show. If you sprinkle in the occasional members video, as well as YouTube shorts on the Josh Tan Show to test and experiment and learn, you realize that the time committed towards growing the channels is enormous. Each video takes 8 to 10 hours easily. So many people always ask, how do you find time to allocate? That's because the workload is huge. But the biggest burning reason as to why I've decided it is an important phase is because I need time again to meet customers. On this channel, I always preach about thinking forward, what's changing in our world. And when COVID-19 struck, I realized that business is going to move a lot non-face-to-face, and I've adapted very quickly. That's why I saw a tremendous growth during the whole 2020 to 2022 phase. And many of my customers, I've yet to meet them also. So I'd like to take that chance also to get to know and solidify relationships. But think about it. When I survey around customers, I also realize that many of them are going back to office at least 3 times a week already. I don't know about you, but that seems to be the consensus on the ground. And increasingly so, more time spent in office. Which means my usual 9:15 a.m. meeting on Zoom may or may not be the right way moving forward. So I'm also thinking ahead and reshaping it based on my landscape. Because if I want to continue to succeed in my advisory business, I need to see where the landscape is changing and adapt for it. The second key reason as to why is because I want to spend more time doing research. This bear market is a unique opportunity to build wealth, in my opinion, and I actually borrow books from library. I have no time to read them. Wealth, you can't wait for it. Warren Buffett, ground rules. So you're thinking where I actually find inspiration and lessons to share with you. I actually spend a lot of time on books also. Bill Gates, he has a 1-2 week reading retreat when he was back in his corporate days. Mark Zuckerberg, he does the same. Books, they always have a lot of wisdom, and I find a lot of lessons there to share with you and to also improve my own investment process by reading. But if I'm running so hard on production, then this part, I think, is quite clearly, I need to spend more time. This has been a hectic week. These 2 books, yet to touch them. I like to change them. When it comes to investments, you need time to research. This is actually a screenshot of my current platform in Weibo, who is today's sponsor. And with that, I'd like to share with you their current promotion, whereby you can get yourself some free stocks in the current promotion period. So check out this QR code or links below. And before we get to the third point, I'll address the biggest fear I have with regards to YouTube channel growth also. YouTube subs, if you see now, it's 33,000. It's a bit like money. Which means in the journey, you realize, hey, you've overtaken some people who had more than you, now you have more than them. You feel a sense of happiness, like, oh, you've accomplished something in the game. On the other hand, it's also a bit like money. There'll be people with a lot more and you wonder how they manage to do it. And with that, you're always anchoring your happiness towards chasing a bigger and bigger number. When I first started this channel, I thought to myself, if I hit 10,000 subscribers, I've accomplished a lot of my goals already. I wanted to be one of the bigger channels in Singapore. I wanted to be the most prominent financial advisor, and to a certain degree, I think I've accomplished that. Sharing good education materials and teaching proper investing and teaching proper financial planning practice, especially for retirement. But when I realized something, I actually saw my nephew's TikTok account. He had more than 200,000 followers, and he was showing it and bragging about it to me. And I realized something. If we derive our joy from the number of followers as well as likes, it is a very superficial happiness. And we've seen stories before of a lot of influencers chasing those numbers and becoming on this rat race, and it does not lead to happiness, but rather it leads to burnout and a sense of emptiness. Many times, these followers cannot be monetized, which means you can't even feed the family and pay the bills with followers and likes. On YouTube, at least the advertisement brings in certain revenue. There's certain reason to put in time because it's a cause and effect. You do more production, you get more revenue. So if the number of subscribers is a bit like money, and one of the things I preach on this channel is you need to understand when you have enough money, which also means I need to understand when I have enough subscribers. That part achieved, we need to be grateful and we need to not put too much focus on it already. Because there's a very important thing that I'd like to do for the second half of the year, which is this: start traveling again with my family. You know, when I had my second kid, that was really when I started this YouTube channel. I actually pre-prepared a lot of videos because I understood that when a baby comes out, every parent is going to have sleepless nights, every parent is going to be ill, every parent is not going to wake up the day inspired because it's so tiring. I actually prepared at least 3 or 4 videos as a backlog for that hard time. And because I was a very hands-on parent, being involved in my kids' day-to-day, I don't have a nanny. I actually managed to survive that period and keep the production on YouTube as if nothing has happened. But that period has passed already. And right now, I realized that my pipeline of spare videos to launch, especially when I am not well, not motivated, or my parents-in-law are unable to chip in, or the school is closed, there are a lot of reasons to derail consistency, which is something I've done on this channel a lot. I realized this buffer of spare videos has dwindled down a lot and has not been able to refill. It's a bit like emergency savings. When you don't have emergency savings, you realize you're living month to month. You realize that you're very fearful that if something happens, you're not going to be able to pay off something. And the best way to not feel stuck and not feel in a rut is to build up this buffer again. Build up your emergency savings, and for myself, to build up this buffer of spare videos so that I can take a trip with my family. If I were to do a 1-2 week trip, I'll need at least 3 or 4 spare videos, correct? Because time to keep work aside, put all the focus on family. Which means also, I don't have that spare capacity, I need to cut back on so that I have that room to build up that capacity to start traveling in September and start traveling in December. And since you start with me to here, I'd like to share with you a bonus wisdom. The best athletes in the world understand this. You need to sprint and then rest. You cannot train with a slow pace and drag your feet because that does not give you results. You need to sprint and learn to rest. That is something I'm adopting for myself right now, and hopefully it is something that you can ponder a bit further. If anything on this video has been of use to you, help me smash on like button and press on subscribe. I'm not going away anywhere. I'm keeping the consistency there at a different pace, and I want to be accountable to you on it. With that, I'll sign off. Stay tuned for more good investment videos, and with that, I'll see you in the future one. Take care and goodbye.
Everybody smile.
Everybody smile. You're pressing video, do you know that?
Yeah, I know.
Then why did you do that?